And so when we begin to fix our eyes on Jesus and we begin to fix our eyes on the healer, the crazy thing is it's like we begin to enter into this cycle of worship. I like to call it the cycle of worship, where we tell the Lord how holy He is, where we lift Him up and we lift Him above our situation and our circumstance. But the beautiful thing is that God loves to respond to worship.
Yes.
And so we're telling Him how holy and wonderful and magnificent He is. But then His response to our praise, because He loves a generation of praisers, He begins to pour out healing. Yes. He begins to pour out joy. He begins to pour out peace. He begins to break off depression.
Amen.
He begins to break off suicide. And so when we begin to get into the presence of Jesus, we get into the presence of a healer, a God who heals. And it's an invitation into the supernatural. So we're not just worshiping without something we're not saying that nothing is going to happen. Something is going to happen after we encounter Him. And that's where the supernatural comes into play.
Yeah.
And so we've had just so many moments in the presence of Jesus where He is healed, whether it's a physical healing, whether it's emotional healing, whether it's a mental healing. I love seeing people healed of asthma because I was healed of asthma. We've also had, tumors dissolve in meetings. We've had deaf ears open up.
Is this just while you're singing, just in the worship?
It honestly, and this is what I love about it. It can happen in the worship. It can happen in the Word.
Yeah.
It can happen during the altar call. It can happen when you go home, because it's all about getting in the presence of Jesus. It's not the worship side of it. It's what Jesus does.
Yes.
And so that's what I love in it. So yes, I would say obviously it does happen in the worship, but it happens really whenever Jesus wants to have it happen.
Where He is.
Yeah.
Where He is.
Yeah. And so He's in the entire meeting. And so we expect healings to happen all throughout the meetings, and that's exactly what does happen.